Hey guys, Scott Sullivan here with tip number 3 now on how to argue with an atheist.
Oh, this ought to be good. Dollars to donuts, this will be the most ineffective and pointless argument you've ever heard. It'll satisfy the Christian, but it won't get them any closer to convincing the atheist that they've got a point. All right, let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. We've all had debates with theists, but how many of them were actually trying to be persuasive? It rarely seems as though they give people reasons to believe. Oh, sure, they do the same as atheists, trying to convince us that the problem is our mindset, is what we're willing to consider as arguments. But most atheists give reasons why the theist mindset has flaws. But rarely do religious arguments amount to much more than, nuh-uh, or because I said so. And this guy isn't much different. Have a look.
Okay, so quick tip number 3 now on how to argue with an atheist is to watch out for scientism. Scientism. That's the idea that the only thing that counts as knowledge are scientific truths, things that can be known by the scientific method.
Okay, right away we've got ourselves a problem of semantics, which more or less forms the basis of this guy's argument. The word knowledge is always a bit sticky because it comes off as an absolute. If you have knowledge, it must be for certain, irrefutable. But of course, all knowledge is filtered through subjective human perception, so nothing is ever for certain, as he'll point out. But for him, that's somehow a slam dunk against atheist arguments, and it's not. If we accept that knowledge is not 100% for certain, then we can at least assign probability of certainty given the available data. And religion is making claims of God's existence backed by nothing more than faith and ancient manuscripts, which, let's face it, isn't exactly in the same league as evidence-based science. If you're going to claim that a God is real, you're going to have to start backing up your case just a little bit better if you want to convince a rational person to your side.
There are actually 2 problems with scientism. First of all, the idea itself is completely self-refuting. That is to say, it commits a kind of intellectual suicide. In other words, the statement, the only things that we can know must be proven by science, that statement itself can't be proven by science, so it doesn't even own up to its own standard.
Like I said, his argument is largely semantic. If one were to assign probabilities of certainty to those things we claim to know, if we attempted to demonstrate the truth of a claim, science has shown itself to be reliable time and time again. Between experimentation and the peer review process, we can count on science to be right a substantial portion of the time. By contrast, how often can we similarly rely on scripture? If one were to experiment with religious claims, the results are not nearly as reliable. And theists seem to try to cover their butts by saying that God works in mysterious ways, like the random unpredictability of religious claims are the work of a conscious entity, one who apparently delights in fucking with us. So when it's said that the only things we can know must be proved by science, yes, it's a kind of hyperbole, but one based in reliable experience over many thousands of years, hardly self-refuting, and to take it as such is to misunderstand it. And, frankly, I think he's doing it on purpose because he'd rather seem to win an argument than to actually be right.
Now, the second problem with scientism is that there are clear counterexamples. There are instances of knowledge that we all have, reasonable beliefs that we all have, that do not come from the scientific method. Things like the laws of logic and mathematics.
Seriously? Do you even for a moment think that people just came up with those out of the blue without experimentation and testing? Hell, people are still experimenting with mathematics and discovering new things. Those are just as much part of the scientific method as biology, physics, astronomy, and so on. But nice try.
So statements like, every triangle has 3 sides. Every triangle, even the ones we haven't observed yet. That can't be proven by the scientific method.
What, are you fucking high? What, do you think that being a triangle is like being from some ethnicity or other? Like we've never seen a triangle with blue eyes before, but we don't know that we never will. Is that how you think it works? Because you've got it completely backward. Triangle is not what the thing is. It's the label we've given to anything that has certain traits. If it's a two-dimensional shape with no more and no less than 3 sides, we're going to call it a triangle. If that does not describe the shape of whatever object we're seeing, then we will not apply the label of triangle to it. To claim that this is a matter of knowledge rather than language is to completely misunderstand, and perhaps I'm giving him too much credit, but I still think he's doing it deliberately.
Or things like moral truths, like it's wrong to kidnap young women and sell them as slaves.
There is no such thing as a moral truth. There are just opinions about behavior that we hold so very strongly that we can't imagine them being false or irrelevant.
That can't be scientifically proven either. So there are clear counterexamples to this restricted notion that the only things that we can know come from science.
If that's really the best you can do, I'm surprised religion has held on as long as it has. Seriously.
Click this image right here. This is the How to Answer a Jesus Critic book. It's a quick little read on how to answer the most common objections to Christianity. And you can enter your email address and I will send you a free copy of this book.
Gosh, I'm sorely tempted. Mind you, if his arguments are anything like this one, I'm thinking it'll be fish in a barrel time. On the other hand, it might make for a fun little video series, and we could all use a good laugh, huh? Anyway, until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please, think. Droids don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when their videos aren't rated. Bionic dances are known to do that.